with what this session is about. I know y'all like want to come here today and drink wine or not to worry, but I found over the years that's probably the least important thing. Here's why. National Restaurant Association says 5 people out of 100 that walk into a restaurant know anything about wine. Zero. So to try to just start tasting wine and somehow magically you're going to jump to the head of the class is just not going to happen. So, but what can happen if you listen to me today, and the goal today is to craft a 12-second spiel about what the topic is, how to make money, okay? If you listen to me and you do the things I tell you between Memorial Day and Labor Day, you make an extra $5,000. It's that simple. And like all big numbers, most people think that it's like I'm going to get a $5,000 tip, but it's not. It's actually only about, roughly $30 a day, or about $1 a person. So how do you do that? It's a skill set that is required, and it requires 3 things. 1, language, 2, practicing it, and 3, a comprehensive understanding of how the menu is written, both the wine list and the main menu, okay? So, how do you get down to that 12-second spiel? When I first started it, way too wordy, typically around 45 to 50 seconds. If I made you stand up and do it right now, I guarantee you it would be over a minute and you would stutter and stammer. You have to get to where it's reflexive. The spiel must be the same thing every single time. Do not recreate the wheel and do not cheat yourself by not giving it to every single person. There's only 2 ways to lead a spiel. We can either lead it from the food side or lead it from the alcohol side. I almost always lead from the food side. I'm assuming you've got a feature every night or a fresh catch or something that you can discuss in lineup, okay? And I'm assuming that we'll drop back and punt and do rolling rock. All right? You know that reflexively, right? You know that reflexively. It comes right out of your mouth, right? Oh, I'm looking for a cocktail. Well, I like the painkiller. I really like 2 rum. You know it's $9. You know you get paid. You let them get Relska, vodka, and tonic, you lost. You let them get soft drink. You do that 3 times, you lost a lot. So Bart already knows these techniques, right? But wait, give it up by just handing over power. You can't do that. All right, so has everybody got a Sauvignon Blanc you want to put it in your glass, even the bar staff? Because this would be important.
They're working.
All right. Working? Okay, well they can still smell it, just don't drink it if that's okay. It's just important to smell the flavors.
I think I missed the 12 seconds spiel on this. So can you do it one more time for the camera?
Sure, I'll come back in just a second.
John got it again.
All right, so I want each of you to smell this wine and tell me what 2 flavors you get out of it.
Grass and grapefruit.
Okay, we got grapefruit on one. What do you think?
Grapes. And more like grapefruit, maybe.
Could have apple. Okay, Sauvignon Blanc tends to have these 2 flavors. Citrus, grapefruit, sometimes peachy things, but usually, and sometimes hay or herbal elements. I think this one is mainly citric oriented. Would y'all agree? So I always use peach and citrus. Those were mine too. You got to come up with something that works for you. So what 2 do you want to use?
Apple and lemon. Apple and orange.
Fresh grape grass.
Okay. What 2 do you like?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Like an apple and almond.
Okay. So how would you describe the color of this? Light, straw, buttery, dark? Color.
Oh, the color.
Light, straw, light, straw, okay. And would you say this is a high acid wine, crisp, or would you say it's kind of flat and bulky? You would say it's high because you know it to be a light wine. You expect it to be kind of bracy, and you expect it to be low alcohol, right? Perfect when you got big ass cream sauces, clams, lighter style foods. That's where it matches up, okay? So, I'm going to do the spiel, but what's your favorite app here?
Probably the dip. Artichoke dip.
The lobster dip? Is it lobster?
Lobster artichoke.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to Mojo. Really glad to have you. My favorite entree on tonight is the linguine and clam. My favorite app is the lobster dip. It is off to die for. The wine I think goes best with that is the juice Sauvignon Blanc. The best thing about that is we can do it by the bottle, by the glass. I'll be right back. We'll get started. can do that, right? It's really that simple. Now, if it has to come from the floor staff, fine. If they're not there, you can pick it out yourself. And pick out one and start working on it till you get good at it. Okay, when you sell something, you gotta know three things. One, you gotta be specific. What kind of beer do you like? Well, I don't know. What's your favorite? Boom, shoot me in the head. That's basically saying, well, what do you want to drink? No, I want you to drink Bell's Two Hearted. I want you to drink the Painkiller. I want you to drink the Jus Sauvignon Blanc. So you gotta be what? You gotta be specific. I like the 2013 Jus Sauvignon Blanc. That's specific. Second is be detailed. Why do you like it? I like it because it tastes like peach and citrus. We had it at a wine tasting. I really like it. The chef recommends it. The winemaker said it's to die for. Marvin Gaye said it's sexual healing. I don't care. Right? Bang, bang, bang. And third is sell what you like. What's your favorite beer
My favorite beer.
that you sell?
My favorite beer personally is Yingling, but I don't know.
Okay, it doesn't matter. If he loves Yingling and it costs $4, that's a lot better than selling it $2.50. We won. You won. Because if you like something, you'll sell more of it. And eventually you'll learn the other stuff that might be even better. Now you're really dangerous. Toward the end of my career in Exporn, I actually felt sorry for people. Kinda, I did. You said in my section, you were going deep. And you were going to leave me 25%. None of that 20% in my section. We were going DT. And there won't none of that running back and forth for water. No offense. I don't have time for that. Now, if they do, you can't be cavalier. You got to do the right thing, okay? Only 1 in 4 people order wine. That's the statistic. But that 1 in 4 buying $80 from them has surely made up for a lot of sins and flaws in my life. Okay, Sauvignon Blanc. 2 flavors are in peaches, citrus. Oh yeah, right on, peach and grapefruit. This bottle, see how this bottle is tall? This is called a Bordeaux bottle. Bottom left-hand corner of France, kind of like Rice Beach, big surfer hippie town. Bordeaux is kind of like New Hanover. Biarritz is kind of like Rice Beach, big old surfer freak town. Very hot down there. The white wine from Bordeaux is, no, we just drank it. Sauvignon Blanc. So if you see a white bottle and a French label tall like this, it's Sauvignon Blanc. If you leave Sauvignon Blanc on the vine all the way to December, they call it Sauterne. That's dessert wine. Higher sugar, done all ferment, leaves residual sugar in, you got dessert wine. Okay? The red wine from Bordeaux, red Bordeaux, has 1 of 5 grapes in it. What's the most common one from Bordeaux?
Cabernet.
Cabernet, exactly. Cabernet has 4 sister clones: Merlot, Malbec, Petit Verdot, and Cabernet Franc. Okay. We'll get to that in a minute. All right, so Sauvignon Blanc, the entry-level white. The floral whites are the ones in the middle, and the floral whites can be Pinot Gris. What else do you have on this? Pinot Grigio, Riesling, Grigio, white varietals. Yeah, all of those that have floral components in it. And Pinot Verde is technically a floral component wine, so I bought you one. So you could group all these together, Sauvignon Blancs, and then the floral whites in the middle, and then the Chardonnays as a group at the end. Okay?
And what's this style of bottle?
Floral. A floral white. This just happens to be like Pinot Verde, which is just to give you an idea. This is Portuguese. See how light color it is? If you don't know what to do, all right, you've got a dish, you can't figure it out, sell them Pinot Gris. Pinot Gris means little gray grape. It sits right in the middle. It's not really acidic. It's not too big and bulky, and it'll go with just about everything on the menu. Okay, so it moves around the world. They changed the name. In Italy, it's called Pinot Grigio. In Austria, it's called Tocca Fruliano. And in Oregon, it's called Pinot Gris. And it just doesn't matter. Its sister clones are Gruner Veltliner and Riesling and all those clones, depending on where you sit. So what do you think? Icy. Gris tends to have a melon structure, like honeydew or stone peach, and a spiciness to it. Sometimes white pepper. Viognier is the most white peppery. Gris is the least. But all those floral wines tend to set up those foods sitting right in the middle. I tend to use it with shrimp dishes and lobster and shellfishes, scallops. So I think that's where it works best. All right, and I tend to save the Chardonnays for the heavier fishes, but you can do what you want. It also works with chicken. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about how to open the bottle real quick, properly.
Please, you find me a home.
Maybe one of these days you screw the cap.
I think your corkscrew.
If you're done.
Okay. All right, so the thing is, when you go to the bar, sometimes the vintage changes and whatever. You just need to go to the table with the correct thing in your hand. Okay? So I always look at it before I go. I go, okay, this is 2012 La Beto Chardonnay. Those are the three things you need to tell the Amex guy. Go up to the table with your right hand. You stand right to the right of him. Okay? You don't lean down. You don't sit on the floor. My owner at the Angus Bar used to say, look, if they wanted to invite you to dinner, they would have. All right, that's not what you're there for. A pro rep kind of moves in and out, takes their money, and they never knew you were there. All right, and orders exactly what you wanted them to order. That's when you'll really feel good about it. Oh, I got them now. They bought the food I wanted, they bought the wine I wanted, they got the drink I wanted, and they left me 20+%. That's when you know you have arrived. Okay, so go up and stand to the right and say, this is the 2013 La Venta Chardonnay. This is where you say, yeah, that's what I wanted. I'm going to buy, I'm going to pay you, I'm going to tip you. All right? Okay. In your left hand, you got to get strong. And the trick is, you have to twist your hand. Okay? And I'm going to move this with my finger out this far around so I can make one cut at one time. Can you visualize that? One cut. And you want to go below the drip cap, not above it. The drip cap's there for a reason, keep it from dripping. It also gives you leverage at a 45-degree angle to cut it much easier. So I usually start talking to people like here because I used to get nervous. They were looking at my hands. This is where I go, where are you from? Oh, yeah, that's great. Love your kids, leave me 20%, whatever. Okay, then I put heavy pressure under the lip and I try to pull it all at one time. See how that works? It takes really heavy pressure. Okay, here's the thing I see the biggest mistakes on. Finger down the flange. People try to screw it in. You have to set the screw. All right. You literally just push it right down the center and then turn it, and then drill it in. Do not go all the way to the bottom. I like at least 2.5, sometimes 3. Okay. Flange out, over the lip, left hand up, and then I want to visualize pushing up. None of this action. I can guarantee if you do this, 2 things are going to happen. You're going to break the cork or break the glass. Right? And you're not trying to get the cork out with one push. It's a 2-step process. So I got it coming up. I reset it. If you have a double flange corkscrew, you can keep going. I don't care. I like this kind. That's because of when I was taller. Now the last piece is to bring it out of the bottle as slowly as possible so it doesn't pop. All right? Like that. All right. Cork comes out. Goes on the table.
Fuck away by the face down all the time.
It does. Just like that.
No, you were twisting the bottle though instead of kind of.
No, you can twist it out however you want to do it. Yeah, it's pretty much the same technique. Don't sniff the cork. Sniffing corks is for dogs. It's tree bark. All right, it's not something you do. All right, same thing in the right hand. You should have a napkin. I'll clean the top off. I'm gonna pour right down the center, about 1 ounce. Just like this. And I'm gonna get you to approve it. All right. See how this color is a little bit darker than the other one? All right. So we know that that's not Sauvignon Blanc just by looking at the color, right? All right. You like that?
Very nice, thank you.
On to the 7 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On to the 5 count. All right. So we'll let everybody pour it. La Venta Chardonnay. And while they're pouring it, tell me what you put in the pour and tell me what you smell in the Chardonnay. Chardonnay has, these are the easiest flavors to identify typically. Am I going too fast? I know it's a lot of stuff at once. Nope, not at all.
No, it's good.
It's beautiful. So there are multiple price points of Chardonnay on this list, right? So which one of these Chardonnays is the fly point on the list? Which one would be the one at $35 to $40?
Tasha.
Yes.
That's okay.
Where's Hess from?
California.
Napa Valley.
Sonoma.
Carlton Hess started it. Largest art collection in the United States. I don't sell the line, but I've been there, so nothing short of impressive. Okay, this particular Chardonnay, when you come out of San Francisco, there's three mountain ranges. One right up the middle called the Mayacamas, there's one on the right called the Vaca, and then there's the Sonoma Range. That middle set of mountains where Hess is sitting on divides Napa from Sonoma. Napa's hot, 100 degrees. Sonoma, side of the ocean, constant 68. If I were to drink a wine out of Napa, I would expect more fruity, hotter climate. If I was to drink a wine out of Sonoma, I'd expect a little higher acidities, a little bit more herbal spiciness. This wine's from Sonoma. The Hess will probably taste more fruity, is what you could expect. Okay, so this is from the Russian River, which is Healdsburg, which is Sonoma. Bang, 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 bang. Just wanted you to get a feel for Chardonnay. So the two flavors for Chardonnay, give me one. Tell me your name.
So one more time.
Tell me your name one more
Brittany.
time. Brittany, tell me one flavor for Chardonnay that you taste. Smell. I'll ask you some questions. Do you smell lemon? Do you smell apple? Do you smell citrus? Do you smell?
It's like a citrus.
Do you smell popcorn? Do you smell
I get
butter?
more apple out of this than
Apple?
citrus. Well, I get more apple flavor
I
than
almost
citrus.
always get apple out of Sonoma. It tends to be the more apple-y domain. And that's probably a
Yeah,
great one.
the other one was more, you could tell more, not a sting, but more citrus in the other.
For me,
This one's
it's
definitely softer.
Always lemon apple for me. Maybe you get that Meyer lemon comes to mind. What kind of lemon? Is it lemonade? Is it lemon rind? Is it lemon peel? And usually chefs and people that are making food have a tendency to pick that out, and women will be able to pick it out. Men can usually say like dark fruit, but a woman will say plum. It's almost invariably how that works, okay, and that's why that's important. Okay, Chardonnay. So what item goes, what seafood item goes with the Chardonnay on this menu?
Salmon.
Perfect. So my Amex player comes up and says, I'm thinking about salmon. Bang, my mind goes, oh, there's two kinds of Chardonnay. There's the masculine kind, big fruity. There's the feminine kind, spicy, kind of lower alcohol, acidic. Well, salmon's got this big cream sauce on it. I need a little bit of acidity. I think I'll go with a Sonoma-based Chardonnay, some lemon apple. You do all that in about 2 seconds, if you thought about it. Now, if you're fumbling and you got 18 other people behind you, you're back down to what do you want to drink? See where I'm going with this? So you say, Sam, oh, I really like the Sonoma-based Chardonnay. We've got it by the bottle. It's from Russian River. I've had it. It tastes like lemon apple. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna buy it. I like this one specifically. I was detailed about it. I like it. I've had it before. See how you can go down that road, and you're off to the races. So I'm going to speed through the reds because it's the same technique, but I think you kind of starting to get a grip on what we're trying to accomplish here. The spiel is very difficult. And I swear, if you go back in the bathroom and try to do it, it will be at least 45 seconds. And you'll try to have a new story every time. Forget that. Make it the same story. Now, once they start buying and they've ordered and you have the conversation with them, that's where you start telling the stories, but not at the spiel. Agreed?
You said Sonoma's generally hotter?
Colder, much colder. The Pacific is a constant 68 degrees. So anytime you're on that side of the mountain range, it never gets that hot over there. So the grapes take at least a month longer to mature. That was like being in the sand hills of Fayetteville. It could be 108 in Napa Valley, just scorching. And you need thick-skinned grapes to protect it. So Cabernet is the thickest skin. The thinnest skin is Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. Go figure, pump climate, right? Now we're getting somewhere. All right, here are the, I'm missing one of the reds, but here are the reds. The lightest red is Pinot Noir, Burgundy bottle. The only indigenous grape to the United States is Zinfandel. Everything else was cut, brought over here and grafted to something we already had. Y'all know where the first grape was planted in the United States? You know what state? Oak State? Anybody from Ohio? You would have guessed right. Vitis Lambrusca, otherwise known as Concord grape, otherwise known as Walter's grape juice. It's right on the Concord border. Does anybody know where the first grape in the world was grown? Pretty bad place to be hanging out. Baghdad, Titus and Euphrates. Black Muscat was the first grape I believe ever grown. And Genghis Khan figured out it was a food group and just took it wherever he went across Europe and planted it and grafted it, and then the Romans took it everywhere else. That's basically how it. Okay, the third varietal is the Cabernet family. Merlot, Cabernet. Cabernet is the body, Merlot is the softest, Cabernet Franc is the perfume. Malbec is the leatheriness, and Petit Verdot is the color. You put all 5 of those together, that's Opus 1. That's Joseph Pels Insignia. That's the blended wines in the U.S. that cost over $100. In France, they would never do 100% varietal of anything. They just think it's stupid. They're about blending wines, okay? The thing I don't have here is Syrah, but you do have Barolo and Amarone on the list, and that is the wines that are the best food wines, maybe because they're low in tannin but high in flavor. And that's what Barolo is. People think that because it's over here on the biggest food category, it has the most tannin structure. You know what tannin is? It's the preservative in a wine. Like you leave tea in the refrigerator a long time and it gets that film on the top. That's tannic acid. That's what lets the tea stay preserved. Acid preserves a wine. So there's no tannic acid in the white wines. There's only tannic acid in the big Cabernets and Merlot. So which wine ages the longest? Cabernet. Pinot Noir 3 to 7, Cabernet 15 to 20, Syrah forever. We'll know why. So let's try that. Let's let each of you practice opening a bottle. I'll keep talking. And tell me, off the menu, do you see all these other reds down here? Sangiovese, Valpolicella, Ripasso. That's mainly because of your menu. But those are in the Zinfandel spicy category or in the Syrah category. I'm going to try to help you understand where they fall. Okay? Great. I'm here to help you. Aren't I great? You can't do that. You can never be cavalier. I'm going to give you an example. At the Angus Bar, we didn't close till 11 o'clock, and this woman came in, and this young woman, about 24 years old, came in in a hippie dress, and a little 4-year-old, and a guy with long hair. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not good for 11 o'clock. And the kiss of death at the Angus Bar was a petite filet, butterfly, well done. You knew you were going down that $2 amateur trail. All right, you've been there, you just kind of know you're getting ready to get screwed. But you just never know, and you deserve, if it's only 12 seconds of your life, everybody deserves that, right? You work hard to have the best stuff for everybody, the 4-year-old to the 100-year-old person. You can't be cavalier. So I'm thinking, I'm toast. You want to try to do that too, so we'll have all of them done. So everything, like I said, was done in bin numbers, by number, and somebody would run it up for us because it was way down there, a place I never knew about. So this put, no.
You want me to do it at the top?
No. Remember, left hand up to the top, twist your hand, all around, and make one turn. None of this cutting action. Try again. So I'm not picking on you, but it's a common mistake. It's a common mistake, and that's what we're here to learn. And if you're doing by the glass at night, I would urge you to let everybody try it and kind of do like a tutorial with it, because it is the hardest thing. Try one more time.
All right.
Okay, once you put your left hand just like this. Okay, try that. Now do this with your hand. Great. Now take your right hand. Perfect. Yeah, perfect technique.
Turn.
Oh, yeah.
Come up.
See how much better and much more strength you have when you do that? That's all right. It doesn't have to come out perfectly, but I think you got it going. Just keep pulling. You almost got it. She had it. You can see it a couple more times practices and she'll look flawless, but see how much better you were controlling that? Okay.
Different. I was always told to hold it down here, so you others hold it up here.
Well, you have much more control over it than they can
Yeah,
actually
I think
see.
you do too, but they always said,
Trust me, after thousands
Yeah, I
of
like that.
things. All right, gets back to the dinner. This young lady's ordering, I swear, it looks like she just came out of the Grateful Dead show, and she ordered $9.82. And I'm thinking to myself, I've been here 8 years. I've been here.
You want to get it right down the center. Make sure you're not tilting it when you put it in. Okay.
That's all right. So she orders a number I'm not familiar with. That's it, flange out. Like that. You got it.
yeah, I was
Just like that, flange out.
Okay.
Push it down with your right, push it down with your right hand. And put your finger around it. Lift your left hand up. Lift your left hand up. Keep them like this. Just hold straight like this. Cover it with your left, with your finger. There you go.
Basically, you're masking the one for.
There you go. Okay, there you have it. And back now and do it again. So it just takes practice, but you had the right technique, and that's important. And y'all can help her, down the road. There's no right or wrong way to do it. There you go. Pour it out with your hand. There you go. And see, it did pop. Perfect job. She'll look better as she gets down the road. Okay, so the guy orders, she orders $9.82, and I'm like, exhausted. I've been here freaking ever. And so the little runner comes up to me and said, I'm not opening it. And I'm like, dude, get your ass out of the floor and open the wine. I know style work will last until the cows come home. He said, I'm not opening it. He said, you're going to have to open it. So I looked at the bottle and said, oh my God, I'm going to get fired. It was the 1945 Mouton. It was $4,562. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to go up to this young lady and say, you've got a $4,562 bottle of wine. You obviously don't know what the hell you're doing. And, or I can say, do you not know this is Mouton? And she's going to actually know what it is. I'm just going to get fired anyway. There you go. There you go. Big pressure. Put your finger out on the leading edge of the blade, your forefinger.
Got it.
This finger right here on your top right hand.
This finger up here.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
So you just a little more pressure on the blade.
Gotcha.
That's okay. So anyway, I poured the bottle. The woman actually knew what she was talking about. She left me a $600 tip. So the moral of the story is you just never know. You've got to be professional to every single person, regardless of what you think that person can do for you, because it really pays off in the long run. So we get that. Yeah, best entree on the list would be.
Well, there's no bad choice to go with peanuts. Come on.
That's true. Which one would you like the best?
Pinot Noir. You gonna be a seafood?
Dessert.
I don't eat seafood, what's it, pistachio?
So pasta would be about bolognese. It needs to have more duck or more meat. Best meat item, chicken, duck, etc. Least amount of tannin would be filet. Ironically, the best fish is salmon. No one really knows why. It seems to match up with salmon really pretty.
Pinot Noir with salmon?
Typically, you want.
So what does Pinot Noir mean? It means little black grape. It's the hardest grape there is. And it's generally considered the best wine on the menu. If you don't know what to do, and they order red wine, sell Pinot Noir. Okay? It goes with everything. You can't get in trouble. You won't be overloading the dish. So let's pour Pinot Noir and let's see what it looks like. This wine is Kimball. It's from Southern California, down near Santa Barbara. It's in Central Coast. It's near the town of Santa Maria. It's about 2 miles from Michael Jackson's old place in Santa Ynez. I don't know what's the name anymore. I went by there last summer. They tore it down. The gate was gone. Everything was missing.
Really?
Yeah, they took it all.
I was like, right there.
So when you look at this grape, you can see through it, right, a little bit. So you know it's not Cabernet, you know it's not Syrah. It's the lightest of the red grapes. Now let's smell it. Is it fruit? Is it herbal, spicy, or is it mineral? Does it smell like cherries? Does it smell like mushrooms? Minerals?
But I could be wrong.
Does it smell like guac?
Well,
Sweet is actually probably a good adjective for that one.
What fruit does it smell like? Does it smell like cherries, black cherries, cherry pie, anything like that?
Yeah, so you don't have to
Pink
be like a cherry,
cherries,
like a
black
dark
cherry,
cherry.
light cherry? What do you think? Who wants to make a guess? What fruit do you think it smells like? Orange, raspberry?
is it black?
Raspberry. I actually thought that's what it tasted like.
I got raspberry, blackberry.
I think
Yeah,
it's right on.
blackberry.
I think it's raspberry in this
Yeah.
case. But it's not sweet cherries. It's more like black cherries, raspberry, right? That's a fairly typical flavor for Pinot Noir. And in this case, I think you're right on the money. All right, I want you to lean the glass out just a little bit and look on the leading edge of the Pinot Noir. On the outside edge, lean like this.
Clear.
Lean it forward. Do you see that white ring that's
Yeah.
forming? Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yep.
The more definitive that ring, that's the alcohol level in the wine, the better quality wine you have. Now, if you were to lean it out on the $6.99 Harris Pinot Noir, you wouldn't see it. Now you know you're in trouble.
Well, no.
Remember, alcohol is the foundation for all flavors. Without it, you're sunk. So it's always kind of, when I'm getting ready to taste, I look down and go, okay, right color, it's got alcohol, smells like it, tastes like it just smelled, I'm in pretty good shape. But you do that intuitively when you're trying wines, whether you know it or not. That's one of your processes for deciding whether the wine was good, right? It had fruit, it had alcohol, it had acidity. Now it has a chance. If they did the same thing in the kitchen, believe it or not, it has flavor, I use acid, but to bump up the flavor. I've got all this savory, I've got to cut that a little bit. How do I do all that? So a chef's doing those things intuitively also. Well, the winemaker does the same thing.
Chris, grab a glass if you want to taste this. Oh, yes, it's right here.
It's a way to rub it in.
I know.
So let's try the Zinfandel. Zinfandel originated from Primitivo.
Do we have to rush right into this?
No, you don't, but we will get ready to try it. If you see on this list, we've got Sangiovese, Valpolicella, Primitivo, I saw that.
I love this.
And those are the wines that are the spicy mid wines like Zinfandel. The bigger wines like Syrah are Amarone, Mornalaya, Amarone, and Barolo, and Ripasso, which means pressed off wine. Those are the wines that are going to need a little bit heavier salt structure.
What do you mean by
Or
pressed off?
What
What do you mean by pressed off?
Ripasso means to lay it out in the sun and dry it down, and then when you get the juice out, you have to press it off because there's so little water content in it that you have such a high concentration. You have to press it
Almost
off.
like it's reduced or condensed.
Yeah, and so those wines are going to be much more heavier in weight. Barolo is just big, powerful, Syrah-based kind of like wine, right? So you don't really want to be doing Barolo with clam sauce. You can see how that probably would make good sense, right? That's just natural tuition. Your mind will know exactly what to do. What's the best wine for Zinfandel? I'll tell you, gourmet pizza. To die for.
Ribs.
The ribs. What's the best wine other than sake for sushi?
Because of the spice you just said.
Spicy Zinfandel or Riesling. Riesling is the spiciest white wine, and it is a no-brainer for sushi. In fact, I wouldn't consider anything else except for maybe a few of the foreign wines.
German makes them out of California.
About the Vino Verde with sushi?
Yes, anything with higher acid structure. Start with Riesling and come back down.
You want more acid on your wine.
I know what this is.
Have more acid on your wine than you do on your food.
Why do you want more acid with sushi? Because it typically has the spiciest. It's got soy sauce, hot, a lot of salt, a lot of chili peppers, anything with chipotle, anything with red sauce and tomatoes. You've got to have a high acid wine cut through it, right? So Primitivo, Riesling, the full white, you don't want to get too full, you just want more acid. And Sauvignon Blanc doesn't have quite the body, unless it's super hot out there. You really want to get into the Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Gruner Veltliner category, the Alsatian German ones. So this vine was planted in 1904 by Matt Klein. The reason Zinfandel is stuck around is because Zinfandel doesn't get diseased. Cabernet tends to die off for 20, 30 years. And Zinfandel, just whatever, is just a monster. You can't kill it. So I like whole vine Zinfandels because it tends to have kind of a glycerin, natural sweetness to it, and not too much pepper and jam.
Not too much fruit in the yellow vine.
This is definitely, I'm thinking, an
How
old
old does the vine have to be to call it an old vine? 25 plus?
Typically, like to see it at 100.
100.
That's what people in my industry consider old, but some people consider it 20. Yeah, which is just not. Vine needs at least 60 before it starts having reductive characteristics. And the reductive characteristics in this are tobacco and spice and stuff that you see in the East Indies or a spice company. That's what you're looking for.
It cooks with tongue. It's kind of weird. It's very typical.
That's something, what, I think this is interesting because one of the biggest hangups, I think there are people who serve, and if they don't like wine, they don't know how to sell it. They don't understand that you don't need to enjoy it to be able to sell it, just know the...
Here's the primary thing that goes on with the brain. If the wine matches up with the weight of the food, the brain is tricked into saying it tastes twice as good. It's just, there's been multiple studies. The problem is, you put the wrong wine in the food, it does just the opposite. It cuts your pleasure factor in half. So instead of being 2 times, you're at 0.5. It's just the way it is. And so your point is well taken.
What cuts your
The brain likes the wrong placement, the wrong matching pair. In effect, if you were to set somebody blind down and put Riesling in sushi and they put Chardonnay, you'd win every time with the Riesling. They won't know why. It won't make any sense to them. Now, if you drink it standalone, they'll do the Chardonnay. Because we're Pepsi drinkers, we like sugar, we like Coca-Cola, they'll go for the power every single time. But that's not really what we're doing, is it? You know, we're pouring Riesling to go with the sushi, which y'all are slaying it, I think. Lord, I'd be tuning them up on that stuff. You know, 'cause now, when you come out, when you're selling to women and all they know is white Zinfandel and entry-level sweet crap, and they'll say to you, I want a sweet wine, Riesling. Because Riesling has residual sugar in it, about 0.5, that hint of natural sweetness. That's what you're looking. That's how you move them up the equation. So to speak. But nowhere in that equation do I have water. Okay. And that's kind of my point. So we just did the Zinfandel. Now we're gonna finish up with Merlot, which is essentially the Cabernet family. All right. And then we don't have Syrah today, but if you want to try one of those, we'll do that next time. I think what we should do next time is concentrate on the 5-point wines and go through that and say, here's what it tastes like. This is why I like it.
Well, and by then, we'll let at least those who are here today stand up and do a little spiel.
Yeah.
And really have no more scrutiny. It ain't all fun and games and drinking
No,
wine.
explain to them what the 8 categories of wine are and how it matches with the menu.
Yeah,
If they can teach that, you'll be off to the races.
Yeah, let's plan for at least these three to stand up and show
So
what
maybe
they're
you
gonna
can
do.
see how Mish teaching you the
Becky's
wines
gonna teach
first.
Chris all this.
Well, no, I want you to be on the spot. I want you to
I don't
stand
have
up.
to teach Ryan too much, he knows.
So learning all the wines on the menu is probably something you never really need to have to do.
No,
I never knew.
just the ones you
How
want
the
to
hell
sell.
was I gonna learn 1,500 wines? I'd still be there trying to learn those damn
All
wines.
you do is learn the ones you want to sell.
Exactly. And then you'll learn the basic flavors of those 8 and you're off to the races. And every time you pick a new one, it doesn't matter. You know, the next Pinot Noir is still gonna have, you know, raspberry and dark cherry flavors and yellow spice or whatever you wanna say. Okay, Merlot. Merlot is the French word for blackbird, little blackbird. Great wines do not have high yield. If I let a vine grow in California, it could be 40 feet long and have like 20 clusters and produce about 8 tons of grapes per acre. All right? A great grapevine only has 6 clusters at 1.5 to 2 tons an acre. And the only way to achieve that is to cut the vine back in June, and then in July, when you've got those 20 clusters, you gotta cut them all off except for 6. So you pick the back 6, it's like priming the back one, sucking the back one, you know what I'm talking about? It forces the nutrients into the fewest amount of grapes as possible. Most people think grapes look like scuppernong, like small
None of these
baseball.
kids know about suckering your back, it's just me and you.
Okay. A Merlot grape cluster is about this big. It looks like a little V, and the grapes look like BBs. You wouldn't even know it was a grape if I were to show it to you. You go, that ain't grapes. That's what they look like. And because the grapes are in such tight clusters, it doesn't get a lot of air into it, so they have to do what's called canopy management. You literally have to go in and cut all the leaves off the morning exposure to keep the grapes dry, and then you leave all the leaves off those exposure in the afternoon to keep the grapes from getting sunburned. Well, how much money do you think it costs to go through an acre and do that? Now you got a million acres of Mondavi coastal Chardonnay. How many grapes do you think they're cutting off the vine? Okay, a ton of grapes is $5,000. I just told you I cut 5 tons to the ground. That's $25,000 per acre. Multiply that times 100 acres. $250,000 economic choice to have good wine or bad wine. That's really what it comes down to. But it's no different than buying frozen mahi or day-boat mahi. What's the difference? Have you had them? Have you had both?
Yeah.
Oh my freaking God. Or shrimp from Guatemala. No offense to the Guatemalans, but you know, it's frozen, it's frozen. It's not the same. There's no way that you can convince me that it's the same. So yield is the greatest indicator of wine. I.e., the number one question that this barn was, are the $100 bottles worth it? And my mind went, 20%, $20, damn right it's worth it. But the true equation was,
Worth it to me anyway.
the true answer was lower yields, the attention to detail, the cropping, the going through it. A grape vineyard is picked 8 different times, because not all grapes ripe at the same time. Why are you gonna pick everything when half of the spring, half of the spring? Well, you think, I'm not gonna pick on Kenwood Jackson, but you think they're going through the vineyard 8 times to pick Chardonnay? Hell no. One time maybe. You know, and whether it's got a little green in it, it's okay. You know, we get a million cases, it'll balance out.
And they throw sugar after the
This
fermentation.
is Schaefer Merlot, the high finest red Merlot in the country. It is made with Merlot and Cabernet, right? Merlot is the soft middle, Cabernet is the body. 95-point Parker, depending on where you're going to read it from. Schaefer is a Stag's Leap property. It was planted in '74. First vintage was around '78. I thought I'd bring you something, at the higher end price point. Merlot is a bitter wine than Cabernet. I know you won't believe that because in the United States we propped it up with over coffee so bad that it's so thin it doesn't taste like it. But Cabernet Merlot is actually a bitter wine. Now on your wine list, it's going to be a lesser wine. It's just virtually impossible to find. You can look at the color on this and know that it's not going to be wimpy, right?
Was there strong? Inky.
So we're not going to spit this one out. Doug Schaefer owns it. Several on the trail. Consistently wine here. Every year we do the Napa Premier Auction where they bid on the wines to kind of set the price last year. Napa Sunshine Block got $85,000 for 5 cases. That's a lot of Jack. What do you smell when you smell Schaefer Merlot?
I taste almost cinnamon.
I sometimes actually get like leathery.
I was gonna say, it's almost like a wallback.
I was gonna say like
Felt leather,
Yes.
earthiness.
what
Yeah.
I think about is just like a cigar shop.
Sometimes I get that first, and then when I drink it, I get that kind of soft berry thing. And I never can really tag with the berry. It's always kind of use leather berry. It seems to always fit for me. If you put the Cabernet in there, Cabernet is their dark fruits like cassis and blackberry. And Cabernet Franc is the perfume that drives over the top. You don't really
Did
have
you say about the season? Say again? Repeat that.
the leathery, the softness is the Merlot. Cabernet is the dark structure, the blackberry, cassis, and the Cab Franc is the perfume that flows over the top. Cabernet was not indigenous to France. It was a mutation of white Sauvignon Blanc and Cabernet Franc. So it's only been around a couple hundred years, but it's by far the most widely planted and highly drunk wine. So what item goes with Cabernet on your menu? Any kind of steak?
Oh, the chicken
any kind of-
parmesan.
Ribeye.
Chicken parmesan.
Chicken Parmesan has red sauce. I tend to go more to the Zinfandel, the spicy category. But you have to think about them because it can be tricky. Sometimes the core product will not allow you to do that wine because the sauce structure tells you to go elsewhere.
Okay.
Make sense?
It's a quick finish. It's a quick finish.
Oh, yes. Merlot doesn't have a long finish typically, but it's pretty soft. It has the sense of roundness when it's going in and elegance, and that's what
Yeah, so.
Okay, so here's the takeaway, and I'm going to sum it up so you can teach it. They're going to say, what did we learn today? We learned how to make $5,000 extra. We learned that there's really only 8 core varietals. I learned 2 flavors for each one, and I learned how to match that up based on the weight of the food versus the weight of the wine. And now I'm going to go practice it. I'm going to get my spiel down to 12 seconds. And you're literally going to time it. Damn, it's 20. I got to cut some words out, or I'm waxing too poetically about the chicken parmesan. You only have a short period of time to get in their brain. The Restaurant Association says that if they have 2 minutes to look at the menu, then your moment of opportunity is lost. They've started to formulate opinions. You really don't want that. You want to formulate
So should-
opinions.
So we don't want the horses really
What
saying
we've been doing is the hostess seats table with the menus. So the hostess then should seat the table and the server should come with the menus in their hand. Give theirs.
If you, well,
No.
not necessarily. I think
We just don't want the hostess saying anything about the special.
And
He's just giving us the fine points.
The point that he's making is when you approach the table the first time, you gotta take control of the table. And just like I told you all about pocket wines and about having your entrees you're gonna sell that night, people here, they're here to buy. It ain't hard. They're gonna buy whatever you
I
sell.
like how he starts out with like my favorites on the menu, I like that.
The pro way just gets there as soon as possible.
Instead of worrying about taking an order, you
But
just
your
walk
hostess has
by.
got to be in tune to the section too. She's got to be able to, you do rotation.
Yeah, the timing's gotta be right, there's sections, but
So
the timing's gotta be
a pro
right.
waiter sees his whole section. He knows
Yeah.
immediately when
Well, see,
somebody's going
exactly-
down.
We're given time,
I would
we're
literally
given
pull
email,
off
you get right there.
something I'm doing to get my 12 second spiel in, and then go back to it.
And you know you're not gonna get to them.
Right, because I'm not looking for execution in the
Get
spiel.
to them, they say.
You took a look at it and come back and get started. I may be pouring water and collecting a check there. That's the thing you gotta
Okay,
train.
y'all listen a minute, like, we're getting off track real quick, because you've had just one sip too much. It's the point that he's trying to make is really, really important. His first approach to the table might even be in passing when he's going to ring up an order
That's
from
what
another
I'm saying
table.
to her,
He's
yeah.
just given the 12 seconds real quick to say, I know what you all need to eat tonight, wait till I come back and we're gonna talk more about it.
Right.
I'd grab the
I
opportunity to get it
apologize.
done as soon as possible. Now, if I can execute right from that point, I will, but it doesn't always work that way.
That's right.
A pro sees all 24 at one time.
But you gotta get them out of the menu. If you got a table sitting at the end of the menu, you haven't seen them yet, you gotta get them out of the menu by saying, these are our specials tonight, these are my favorites, I'm gonna be right back and we're gonna take care of this.
That takes practice.
Yeah.
Because if you got a 45-second spiel and you'll read it, you're
You can't do it.
Right.
Can't do it.
Especially when you're remembering
So,
the orders you just
here comes the tricky part. At the Angus Barn, we had to pass that practical. And you want to talk about brutal. To have 4 of your senior people sitting there with a stopwatch and you're fumbling around for words. And then the next thing is out now, well, I'm thinking about having steak. Which wine should I have?
Yes, there.
You know, so at some point on the 3rd time I come back, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit you down and say, I'm thinking about having this. You're gonna have to take the lead. That's when it's hard. So first, learn about the technique. Second, we'll learn about the wine. Third, we'll learn about the presentation. And that's language and how you say it. And then you get really fast. And once you get fast, things seem to slow down. You hear them say in sports how things slow down for some players. Well, it slows down for pro waiters. Have you ever felt like that when the room doesn't seem to be moving as fast and you're looking at poor rookie waiters just sweating bullets trying to get water out? You're like, what's wrong with you? You know, but it's hard. It's hard work, and you as senior staff have got to teach the other folks because they're eating into your time. I know you don't see that, but they're taking money out of your pocket and not buying into this. I see 24 people. I got my
It
spiel.
comes out that fast, when you believe it. You didn't have to think about it.
Yes,
what's in your head.
There's credibility to knowing the answer to the question right away.
It has to
And
be.
he just told you 95% of people know nothing. Yet they don't
Y'all
know
are,
the restaurant ready
right
to buy.
now, y'all are experts, literally. You can say things that will just blow their mind. You know, like, well, I'm thinking, I want to, like, somebody will say to me, I swear it'll happen the first night, oh, I really want a dry wine. What the F is a dry wine? There's no such thing. Dry in the wine business means that all the alcohol, all the sugar is converted to alcohol. Well, shit, that's everything on the damn list. So, you know, so what you want, but what you say to her right back is, hey, that's really nice. Well, I bet we've got something like that. Tell me what you're thinking about having. Oh, I really want the linguine and clams. Well, shoot, I had this great wine. I know it goes with linguine. It's the Jus Sauvignon Blanc. It's right here at this Flat Point. Not, I got this rock star over here because I see you just got that big ass diamond on your hand. You're getting engaged. No, well, where are you at? You understand? And so you didn't know jack about wine. Dry wine. I mean, I've heard that at least 1,000,000 times everywhere I've ever worked. And it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. But I knew enough to say right back to him, what are you thinking about doing tonight? And now you're in the lead. If it's the Amex guy, then, well, hell, he ordered a $50 wine and a $60 steak. I think I will too. Then it's monkey see, monkey do. Same with the dessert menu. I always start with the Amex player because more than likely if he goes for it, everybody else will. I go to you, you ain't got no power. You say no, then it's monkey see, monkey do in the wrong direction. All right? We've all been there. Those are advanced techniques. I know it is an awful lot about wine at one time. It's grossly unfair. It would be a miracle if you three went out and changed the world. I'm not expecting that. If you could just pass off, if you passed off one thing that you learned today, and then we come back next time, it will take a couple of times, but trust me, if you lay this in the pipeline, you'll be amazed how much more money you'll make in about 30 days. It'll just start flowing one quarter, and you'll wake up and go, oh my Lord. You know, I went from selling about $300 or $400 worth of wine a week to averaging about $1,300. I didn't do anything but change my spiel and listen to that 60-year-old woman tell me to get out of the mushroom caps and get into the Cabernet.
Yeah.
Now, I took all the mushroom cap orders too, but that was on the backside. That was cream. I was missing the core. You know, wine's the weapon, liquor's the weapon, and craft beer's the weapon. When I started, we didn't have any of that. We did. We had Miller Lite at $1.50, and remember, we had Paul Masson at $2. You know, it was crap. We didn't have anything like y'all have today. And sushi. There's no sushi in North Carolina. You gotta be kidding me. You know, I didn't have those kind of opportunities. Y'all got a license to steal, regardless of whatever entry level. I'm gonna tell you one thing. The thing that pisses me off the most is when somebody says to you, waiting tables is not a real job.
What job?
It's not a real job. That is the big, when you get a rookie waiter around you that's thinking like that, you say, well, how much do you think the average waiter in North Carolina makes? $62. $25 an hour is like, yeah, go find you a job making $25 an hour. I guarantee you guys in the kitchen will trade their soul for $25 an hour. So don't say to me that this homework you've got to do to learn the spiel is not worth $25 an hour. Because that 25 at Angus Bar was 45 once I learned how to sell wine. And my 5,000 turned into 15,000 a year because it was my career. I need to look at it. And let me tell you one thing. If you can sell in this environment, you can make it anywhere. You can go to a restaurant, you can work at IBM. It doesn't make any difference. The people who can't sell here, they're not selling any other jobs either. Because they didn't learn how to do the skill set that was required to sell. And so don't take that anymore. What we do is really honorable. And if you're good at it, you're taking names and kicking ass. You should be really proud of that. And that's really what this class is about, is a sense of pride in what we're doing and getting hold of it so it doesn't run you around. So I hope that helps a little. We'll come back and talk about wine, just the wine, how drinking it next time. And I know it's probably not what you expected, but maybe it will help you down the road just a little bit farther.
This is actually what I hope for.
I know, very much.
So, last question. What kind of wine is this? And
One. Yeah, there's things like that.
it's called, what kind on your list?
Rosé.
Okay, what kind of bottles it in?
No, it's in the.
Burgundy. Or the Burgundy.
What's the red grape for Burgundy?
Chardonnay.
Red grape. Pinot Noir. So, this is a rosé of Pinot Noir. You know how rosé gets its color? It's only left on the skins for 8 hours. It's not fermented for the whole week, so it has this lighter sound. It's rosé. Okay, got it? If it was long and straight, it'd be Cabernet. And then if it could be Grenache or Syrah, but they're all cousins of Pinot. So we didn't try that, but that's also on the list. So I have 3 of those. So when somebody orders wine and they don't know a thing about wine, I move them into rosé or Riesling. That's the starter wines. Wow, we got sugar in it. I meant to tell you about that when we started. I appreciate it. Thanks for giving me all that time. That was a lot.
Please come back.
Thanks to the camera.
We want to learn more.
Or something that we can rewind it. That's session number 1.
That's awesome.
Let y'all practice about a month. Maybe we'll come back and just have a quick tasting.
Like week after Labor Day, after Memorial Day.
Something like that.
Yeah, first week in June would be great.
Absorb it.
Because we're still slowing.
We'll try the lines on the. Really? Yeah. One back category.
You can get one by.
Told you I was home.
You should have been quicker, it throws down.
I know, I got something, I was like,
I was like, come on now, let's get a bite of this.
you should have just gone in there with some.
You know, I was just trying to
Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
So she's recorded this, so you can probably rewind it. Yeah, she bring a pen and paper. Oh, sorry.